This is MasculineJason, aka Jason Collins. I've been in the adult industry for 5-6 years now, roughly. Number one, it's a great source of revenue. You also get a ton of flexibility. You can work as much or as little as you want. However, though, there is an expression: anyone who works for themselves as a slave driver is a boss. Obviously, this depends on your personality, but to me, at least for me personally, that absolutely rings true. I do have a slave driver for a boss. Personally, it's actually made me more humble than I already was. I've never had an ego, but I feel like a lot of people, when they get into this industry, their ego blows up. But if anything, it's made me more humble because I realized, I knew this before, it just reinforced it. But the thing is, everyone has a type. I don't care what the most unattractive type for you personally is, but I guarantee you can find tons of porn dedicated around that. And it just kind of reminds me of the whole thing of attraction being subjective. So it's affected me in that way. It's taught me a lot more about sex, especially when it comes to fetishes and niche stuff. And really, there is no end to it. I'm sure I could be in this industry for 20 years and I would still be learning new stuff every single day. So that's pretty awesome. I would tell them, about the hours, like I just said. You really have to ask yourself, what do you have to lose? Me personally, when I shoot with someone, assuming they're not in the industry, if I sense any hesitation at all, even the slightest bit, or I know they have a high profile job or a job like their teacher or something, I will absolutely cut it off. I will not shoot with that person. And that's just me. If you want to screw up your life, great. I'm just not going to be a part of it. So really ask yourself, could this impact your current job? Could it impact any future jobs? My attitude in life tends to be hope for the best, but plan for the worst. So you need to ask yourself, what would happen if your ex saw your porno, or your dad, or whoever? So, it's one of those things. Don't see what's right here, right in front of your face. Think, is this something that you really, it could, impact your life in a positive way or in a negative way. So you would just need to decide that for yourself. And it's a risk-benefit type of situation. To a large degree, yes. If we went from 1950 to now, obviously we've progressed a ton. However, though, we are a very male-dominant society. So obviously, if you're a man, you're going to be able to get away with a lot more than a woman. And just look at Arnold Schwarzenegger's past. That really never negatively affected him in any way, shape, or form. If you had a woman who did even 1/10 of that, she's going to be crucified for it. So, yeah, we're progressing, but I still think that we have a lot of room to grow. Actually, yes, this is all I do for money. I'm also a full-time student. I'm currently taking 18 credit hours, which in retrospect was a really bad idea because my life involves work and school. And that's it. I wouldn't have time for anything else. Kind of along lines of what I just said, but I'll give you an example. I can make a domination video and use very degrading terms towards homosexual men, and that's perfectly okay. That's totally normal. There's no issue there. And it's gay men who are buying those videos, no one else. However, in contrast, I cannot make the same video. It's something called race play, but it's where a white male says derogatory things to a black male, and it gets pretty extreme. But yet, if you make a video like that, you can't post it anywhere. Explain to me how that makes sense. Because in this situation over here, it's going to be the black male who's getting off on it. That just happens to be what he's into sexually. So if anything, you're actually being racist to the consumer, not to me. So there's a lot of that double standard stuff I see go on in porn, or you can talk about this thing in this scenario, but you can't talk about it in this scenario. So me personally, I would like to see a lot more equality and a lot more, how do I want to say it, fairness as far as the rules. It applies to everyone or it applies to no one. I have lost count of how many times someone comes to me and they want to buy a custom video and they want something. It's like, you know, they approach you, oh my god, well, I've got this fantasy, I'm into it. You can tell they're ashamed of it. And I basically have to drag it out of them. And 99 out of 100 times, what they are into sexually is so common, it's unreal. So if I could tell you one thing and only one thing, that would be whatever you're into sexually, as long as you're not actually hurting someone else, that's totally okay. The thing is, all of us have fantasies, all of us have fetishes, kinks, etc. There are a billion different variations of it. So as long as you're not hurting anyone else, there's nothing wrong with you, and I guarantee you a lot more people are into that than you could ever possibly imagine. I have actually started up a YouTube channel not too long ago. It's called Cigar Talks with Jason, and you know, it's something I'm going to keep doing. I love doing it, just like I do porn. So I'm going to keep doing that and, you know, kind of transfer one over into the other eventually. But it's a great channel. You should check it out. Thanks, guys.